Hello. Welcome to the 26th episode of the Sanibel Captiva Guide podcast. I'm delighted to welcome the two Bs here. We have Beth Jarrell and Betty Anholt, and they're both from the Sanibel County Library.
No,
I said that. Why did I say that? Why did I say that? It's not. No. There's no county on Sanibel. Yeah, I've got it in my mind. Sanibel Public Library.
Right.
I'm sorry. Take that back. Strike. I've got a red strike against my name.
Yeah.
Never mention those words again.
That's right.
Anyway, just to redeem myself, I'm going to go really quiet and then just let these ladies introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what you do. Why don't you go first, Beth?
All right, my name is Beth Jarrell, and I am the archivist and reference librarian at Sanibel Public Library. I've been there for about 2.5 years, and I've actually started the library's first ever digital archive. Yes. So that's a project that I've been working on for the past year and a half.
Which is amazing, which is wonderful.
I'm sure that's no small undertaking.
Yes. Yeah, about 3,000 images. Each one needs to be scanned individually. But
wow, and they did not have anything like that before you came? Or?
Not really. There was something that was a cooperation with FGCU and a couple other institutions, but this is our first ever in-house one.
Okay.
Now Betty, how about you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Betty Anholt, and I have worked at the library for over 2 decades. Basically, I do cataloging of the new books, material that comes in, get it processed so that people can take it home with them.
Okay.
Which involves, kind of backroom work. I've long been involved with the reference and archives and the rest of that as well.
Okay. Excellent. So let's start off talking a little bit about the current location of the library. And if you haven't had the good fortune of going to this library that's not a county library, remember that.
That's a problem.
Then it's basically a fantastic facility.
Amazing.
It's a 2-story building with a fantastic entrance with a whole exhibit downstairs, and then upstairs it's a library that really outclasses the size of the Outland. I mean, it's a huge facility.
Yeah.
So
and it was actually just refurbed, correct? Is that
yes.
right?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, right before the pandemic started.
And I have to mention, we are the #1 tourist attraction on TripAdvisor.
That is awesome.
Really? We want to find out a little bit about why that is.
Right.
So why don't you tell us about some of the programs and things that you do at the library, because it's far more than just.
Well, we didn't say the address yet.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Laurie.
Well,
do you know?
I do not know I know it's on Dunlop. I know it's on Dunlop Road, but what is the actual address?
770.
Perfect. In tandem. 7770 or
770.
Okay, 770 Dunlop Road. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay, so tell us about the different programs that you have on at the library, different things that you have going on.
Okay, well, in the past or hopefully in the future, because right now we're kind of still in a little bit of a pause.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But certainly the first thing that comes to mind is our author series, which has been very dramatic. We've had it's probably 40 to 50 first-class authors. I'm thinking people like Joyce Carol Oates. Our last one 2 days before the pandemic hit was David Baldacci.
Harlan Coben.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
So they actually come in and you can actually
come in, talk, give a talk. We have a little buffet afterwards.
Ooh.
It's extremely popular.
Yeah.
We probably have 250 people in the library for this, and there's probably a lot more than that wish they could get in.
So you actually have to reserve your spot.
This is entirely free. We do that, just have a library card, and then it's basically it's a sort of raffle.
Oh,
exactly.
So it's that popular that people, wow, okay. Wow.
Put all the names in one of those.
No, the hopper things that you spin around. That's so cool.
It's a lottery.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I know you have a big popular kids program as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lots of story times, and not right now because of the pandemic, but we're hoping to get back to programming soon.
Right. And they have a whole big sort of lazy area where the kids can all sprawl out.
Yeah. We also have a bunch of what we call passive programs, so things like Reader's Advisory Service, where people can fill out a form and get personalized book recommendations. We also have hotspots, mobile hotspots people can check out, bird watching kits, and actually even a GoPro that people can check out.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Didn't you even have some VR capabilities?
Yeah, we do. Again, once the pandemic is over, once we're safe to resume that, we will start booking that and have people come in. We have a 3D printer too, and that same sort of thing.
Oh, and you can use a 3D printer?
It's through our technology manager, yeah.
Okay, so if you're a visitor to the island and you're not a local, can they still use the library?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Anyone's welcome to come in, whether they're a card holder or not, use our public computers. We do have a visitor card, and that price hasn't increased in how many years, Betty? It's it's the best deal on the island.
And what is that deal?
It's $10, and it does last a full year, which means people have access to all of our digital apps and services. So ebooks, audiobooks, music, movies.
And then you can be on the other side of the world and be using our library.
Right, for $10.
$10.
Wow,
For
and you can do
$10.
that online, or do you actually have to come in? To do
we do ask people to come in when they first sign up.
Gotcha.
If they want to renew a card, we generally can do that over email or over the phone.
Gotcha. And what would they have to bring with them
just a piece of photo ID and your address that you're staying at on the island. And of course, the thing that a lot of people don't know is anyone who lives in Lee County, anyone who's a property owner, whether that's a house or car or whatever, if you have a Lee County address, then you are eligible for a resident card as well. So it's not just Sanibel residents.
Okay. Oh, I don't think I actually knew that. Very cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
excellent. So tell us about the archiving. That's something that's going to be going on for the long-term future, or?
Yeah. So it's actually most of our collection. We just hold stuff that belongs to the Sanibel Historical Village and Museum. So we've been digitizing their stuff and our stuff, and just everything that we have that we've collected. So our focus really is on stuff that is before the causeway. So 1970 and before that.
Well, Max and I can vouch that we've actually used some of the public library's stock footage, and we've been sure to credit them.
Yeah, I started doing some film photography of the island, and then going back and finding archive pictures of the exact same spot.
Yeah.
From days past, and then comparing them.
Right.
And not much has changed.
Not much has changed, fortunately.
No, which is the wonderful thing about the island.
Yeah. Like I did a series of all the first blind pass wooden bridge to the first concrete bridge, and I think it was redone again and today.
Yeah, I actually have a picture right here of the old blind pass bridge.
Okay, bring that up. Right, so these are, Beth brought some examples of pictures that you can actually see.
That is exactly the picture I used, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah, so this is Dean Mitchell holding sheep's head, right?
Sheep's head.
On the old blind pass bridge, which is really interesting to see how curved up it is. And Betty can probably tell you more about that than I can.
Yeah, and this is actually the second wooden bridge, because the first one, which was built in 1918 through the Department of War.
Max, do you want to go in on that picture?
Of Defense.
Oh, okay.
I can't.
That was destroyed during the 1926 hurricane.
Okay.
And this is the second wooden bridge that was built. And then they built the concrete bridge in 1954.
And it looks like it's just one lane.
It is one lane, and
how would you see?
Well, they claim they've had accidents on the bridge where
two cars ran into each
exactly. I don't know whether that's a legend or for real, but you get up to the top and then you have to back up.
Right.
So if you're listening on audio, this is basically, it looks like a rickety wooden bridge that's somewhat of a suspension in the middle. It goes up in the middle. There's a guy standing there proudly with his catch of sheep's head fish, and it's definitely only wide enough for one car. So.
Yeah, and to this day there are fishermen, a very popular spot for fishermen.
Absolutely.
If you come to visit the island, go on out to Blind Press Bridge, bring your fishing pole. If you're not into fishing, go and talk to the fisherwomen. They're always happy to talk about what they're catching and just have a chit chat.
Still one of the most popular fishing spots.
And what you brought some more pictures, Beth?
Yeah, I
show
did.
this too?
So this one, Betty, why don't you tell them about this one?
What is it? Okay, well, this is one of the very early shell fairs, if you want to look at it that way. But this would be down at Casabel Resort, which was the Casabel Hotel, or if this was pre-1912, it was called the Sisters.
Yes.
But you see all the shells and the people sitting there by
Proudly,
their display.
Right. They all dressed up, which I love.
And they really were all the time. And there was a bit of a competition between Casabel and the Matthews, which is the Island Inn.
Right.
And they would lay their finds out, and they would compare and contrast.
Yeah.
And once the community house was built in 1927, they moved the shell fair up there and basically opened it to the public. There was a point when they were just madly running ferries back and forth to bring people across because there were, oh my goodness, 600 people over the several days of the fair.
Oh, wow.
You know.
Yeah, and to this day, it's still held at
it's
the
still
Community
very
House.
popular.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Yes, a 3-day event now. And
so if you look at it from the very early days, I think the first time they did this formally was something like 1909. It's well over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Tradition.
Very cool. I wish I could see the shell, a close-up of the
know.
shells that they actually...
Yeah.
We do know that the
displays.
newspaper he's holding is a Chicago Tribune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was actually focused on that, too. I was wondering that. Yeah, that's so funny. Imagine sitting there in your jacket and your tie. You must be very hot.
That is the weirdest thing about the old pictures is the outfits. I don't know how you stand out in Sanibel in pants and layers.
You could only imagine that they were here off season.
Yeah,
in the
but
winter
if
months.
you were in shorts, then you would be mosquito laden.
Yes, this is true.
That's a
So,
good
that's
Yeah.
exactly. All right. So
And these would have been taken in the winter when the mosquitoes were not so bad and the temperatures weren't so
Right.
bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
All right. Coming up next, we
Okay,
know
so
who
this
these
one
guys
is
are.
a picture of an ass, a mule, with 3 kids on it. I'm not sure which one it is. Or a pony, maybe. I don't know. But,
No, it's
Yeah,
a
that's
mule.
definitely a mule.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah,
then there's
this
3
is
kids riding on
the
top.
3 Bailey boys,
Yes.
Francis, John, and Sam,
Yeah.
on their dad's mule
Right.
when the mule was,
Not a pet.
you know,
Well, a
no,
pet,
he was not a pet.
Right.
He was
a worker.
important to the truck gardening.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
indeed. And
Yeah.
there were more than one mule
Yeah, and they
that he
used to-
would have been operating as well.
They actually used to supply mules, didn't they? For the that was one of their things, that they could even actually supply mules in the
Right.
old Bailey store.
I saw
which-
one. It was a newspaper account where I think it was the Gladys brought over 40 mules in a week.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
So the Gladys
So,
was
I
one
mean-
of the ferries that would come
No,
from
it was not a ferry.
Oh, it was
a steamboat.
a steamboat. That's right. That would
Okay.
bring over
Perfect.
supplies from the mainland.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The really interesting thing about this picture that not a lot of people notice is you can see a woman standing in the door up here.
Oh, yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not notice that.
No.
Oh, yeah. And is that
We think it may be, the boy's mother.
Right.
But, there's just no way to tell for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Could be a ghost.
It could
Or
be
it
a
could
ghost.
be.
We just don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Well,
Haunted Sanibel.
Funnily enough, you're not allowed to ride horses on Sanibel anymore, are you? I'm pretty sure it's a
No,
law.
there was a time when you could.
I think it's a
Right.
law now. that you
Yeah,
can't
in the
have
70s, there were several horses out
any-
here.
Really?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, it's an ordinance that you're not allowed to. So do not
It-
bring your mule to Sanibel.
Well, it's more a case of the horses are more affected by mosquitoes and that sort of thing. The mules
Mules are tough.
endured them better.
Right.
Really?
Interesting.
Right.
Stubborn as a mule, I guess
Yeah.
is the saying.
Last one here.
They were tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a picture of a wooden tower. It looks like
Okay, that's a bird tower.
it's probably about 20, 30 foot high with a sunshade on top. Tell us about this tower. What is it?
This is called a bird tower. It was in the Bailey Tract. It was built, I think, in the late 50s, 1958. And it was basically an observation tower to look out over the Bailey Tract
Right.
at part of the Ding Darling Refuge. And it
Very
was
cool.
really quite cool because you know, just that little bit of elevation gave you quite an interesting view.
You can go and see a modern version of this today, and you'll get the exact same view.
And that's at Ding Darling now. This one has
this
the Bailey
one's no
tract.
longer
Bailey
there.
tract. Okay, yeah.
Right.
It'd be nice if they would replace it. 'cause
Yeah,
it would be
for
cool.
sure. And do you know why? Did they have to take it down because it was unsafe? Do you know?
Well, over time, wood does not last very well in our atmosphere.
Right, exactly.
Very replaceable, though, so I wonder why they didn't put it back.
Yeah, I guess probably money.
Well, I'm sure they started thinking about legal issues and,
Yeah.
what if?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And if you come to visit, definitely hit up the Bailey tract, too. It's wonderful. It has hiking trails throughout it. There's a parking lot that you can park your car and jump out and walk through the trails and get feel like the nature.
Seaplane Canal.
Yes, which I love that.
Okay, so let me just go. I don't know if how many of you people know this, but we get packages turning up every day at our home and here at the studio, and they're from Laurie feverishly sourcing different books from the island, and she probably has one of the most comprehensive collections.
Yeah, second only to the library.
Second only to the library. And then you've got one in front of you, Laurie.
I do.
Tell us a bit about that one.
This is called The Trolley Guide to the Sanibel and Captiva Islands by Betty Anholt, who is sitting right here. And I'm going to force you to sign it for me after we get off the air. So I have a signed copy. Yeah. So tell us your life as an author, Betty.
Well, what do you say? I mean, I've always been interested in writing. I was writing poetry when I was a kid, and it's always fascinated me, and I've always been a reader. And it just seems kind of a normal
progression.
So tell me, how many books have you written or published, I should say?
Yeah, published is better than written. There's more.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
No, there are 6 that are published, and I'm working on a 7th as we speak.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
Can you let us in on what the 7th is going to be about?
Well, what else?
Sanibel, I'm guessing.
Sanibel Island. Yeah, this is co-authored with my friend and colleague of 50 years or more, Charles LaBeouf. And between the two of us, the nature of Sanibel, the history of Sanibel, personal experiences on Sanibel, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's going to be a compilation.
Excellent. And when can we expect?
When it's done.
Okay.
A lot of the writing is done. There's going to be, hopefully, a good number of pictures, and Beth is going to be very important in all of that as well. And, getting that all together and ready for the
look
press.
forward to it. So, so just on that note, is that something you could do if you were writing a book yourself? If I was writing a book, for example, could you source pictures to use in books and commercial publications from the library?
I guess, Beth.
You have to give permissions, get permissions, and statement of.
Where it came
we
from.
do have a permission form. People can contact the library, and we're happy to send it over, and it's signed by our director. But really the most important thing is that they give credit to either the provenance, so either the Sanibel Public Library or the Historical Village.
Well, that's a great resource. Great resource, because we've had, trying to find pictures and things like that, and we're obviously being in our other lives of photography business, we're cognizant about copyrights and all the rest of it. So it's one thing we don't want to ever mess with. So
that's a hairy issue.
Yeah, so we're always very careful to make sure we're not breaking those rules.
Yeah. And are you still getting pictures in, Beth?
Oh, we ask for people, if they have them, that they would like to contribute. Absolutely.
Okay.
You heard it here first. Make sure if you have any pictures that haven't been shared or seen, make sure you if you would love to, they would love to see them at the library. Please get in contact.
There are so many places, buildings, activities that have happened in the past, and we're really looking at pre-Causeway.
Okay.
But also like notable residents, notable events, hurricanes, stuff like that.
Okay. And then how would they get them to you, Beth? What would be the best way?
The best way would probably be to call the library and then get my email address,
Gotcha.
and we can set it up. Either they can come in or we can do it electronically. So
okay, but you could actually if they just had a physical photograph, you could
I could scan it.
for 'em?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Put 'em in
And
there.
then they retain copyright, so they retain permissions. We just host it. So
Gotcha.
Okay, we have some pictures that we'll get over to you. We have some aerial pictures of the hurricane in 2004, Hurricane Charlie.
Terrific.
We're going through
Flying over the beaches. So I'll share those.
we
with
would
you guys.
definitely be.
Yeah, we were just working with some aerials yesterday that were from 1955
Wow.
and trying to identify exactly where they were along the coast.
What people don't realize is how much work
The
goes
changes
into.
are tremendous.
Yeah, there's a ton of work that goes into each photo. I mean, it's not just as simple as scanning it and putting it online.
Yeah,
we try to do research on exactly what we're seeing and really make sure we get our facts right, because we are presenting this as
factual.
Exactly.
Right. As factual as you can.
Fascinating.
Cool. Yeah,
fascinating.
that's super cool. So I want to find out how you guys ended up on Sanibel. Let's start with you, Beth.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my family's actually been coming here for over 20 years.
Okay.
We originally my parents were from Ontario, so we did the good Canadian thing and came down to Florida for spring break.
Good.
So it was just always a place of peace, and I loved it. And eventually in 2018 they actually bought a house down here. So I graduated in 2019 with my master's degree from the University of Washington, and thought, hey, I need to get some work experience under my belt. So I walked into the library with my resume in my hand and said, is there any way I could do an internship here? And just live in my parents' house while I was doing it.
Right.
So fortunately they said yes, and that turned into a full-time gig. So
and here you are.
Yeah, here I am.
Wow. I love that. I love to hear how people end up here. Very cool. All right, your turn, Betty.
My turn. Well, again, we did traveling back and forth. I'm originally from New Jersey, graduated from Rutgers, and we would come down really from the time I was about 10 years old. And I remember when I was maybe 14 that I kind of took a stand and said I would never live in Florida. And so therefore,
here you are.
Here I am for most of my life.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But my parents moved down here a few years before we did. But Jim had a medical issue, and they
Jim
told
was your
him
husband?
that Jim is my husband.
Right.
And they told him he really needed to be in a warmer place, so here we are.
And what year was that?
1968.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved to Sanibel the following year.
Right. Okay.
So that's funny. That sounds, back in the day, they would actually tell you to physically move to a warmer climate. You would think that was a back in the day thing, but shortly after I moved here from England in 99, a friend of mine followed suit 2 years later after he had chronic back pain and in his early 30s, and the doctor said, go somewhere warmer and it won't bother you, and he moved to Florida. So it's not such an uncommon thing.
It really is what Florida in general has been for so many people too, a kind of a sanatorium, if you will.
Yeah.
Go there, you have arthritis or rheumatism or whatever.
Right.
And
what better place to come than Sanibel, too? You get back to nature.
Yeah.
So you moved here, and then what did you do once you came to Sanibel?
Well, the reason we moved to Sanibel, my husband had a part-time job with another man in a service station near our house in Fort Myers. And he had just moved off of Sanibel. His wife had died. And Francis Bailey, who owned the Standard Station there at the corner near the causeway, wanted him to come back and run the station, and he didn't want to do it on his own, and he basically dragooned Jim into coming with him, and here we were.
Right.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
then, how long did you have the station?
13 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the trolley guide came about, was it?
This was later. The station. Jim was basically at the station. I worked for a specimen shell shop right next door, Elsie Malone, and so I spent 7 years in there learning an awful lot about shelling and shells from around the world. And then once he sold the station, he was kind of semi-retired but bored, but he was on the Chamber of Commerce board at that time. And Walter Klee talked him into doing a 6-week temporary trolley type of, experiment for the island.
Right.
And it evolved into 17 years of running trolley, transportation, and then later tours.
When did it stop?
When did it stop? 1999.
1999.
It started 1982, and we actually began the tours in the refuge that they do now with the tram.
Now. Right, okay.
Yeah, we had evening bird tours,
Right.
sunset bird tours.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And were you were physically on or somebody was on the trolley?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I drove the trolleys. We had 3 trolleys at one time, but, that was our maximum.
Mm-hmm.
But we made trips to Captiva as well as Sanibel on the transit schedule. And then we also went off island. We went as far as down to Chokoloskee Island and Everglades.
We were there at the weekend.
We just went to Chokoloskee on the weekend.
It's a great place.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, definitely. If you're coming to Sanibel, make a trip to Chokoloskee. It's only about
It's a
an
little
hour
bit
and a
of
half.
drive.
Yeah.
About 2 hours from here. But
Yeah. Worth
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Max, you got anything for us?
I think I do.
Okay.
I have a few trivia questions for us.
All right. I think Betty has a advantage.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I know.
Can you make them about sports in England, Max?
Yeah. One day, Dad. One day I will get there. When I run out of
Cricket,
Sanibel
soccer.
questions.
There
Yeah,
you go.
exactly.
Football, actually.
Football.
Yeah, football, right.
All right.
Okay, Betty, you got to write your answers down, but you've got to be careful to shield your answer from Laurie because she has been
She's a
known
known
to cheat.
cheater, caught on camera.
We'll even put that up a little bit. We'll put that up.
Right. Stop.
Okay, so first question. The first Sanibel library started in 1963 with around 600 books. In what still standing and operating building on Periwinkle Way?
Why are you looking at my...
I'm not looking. I'm looking at. I heard Betty talking about it earlier, and I still don't remember.
You
The
got
brain
this,
of a goldfish.
Yeah, seriously.
No, I love when questions that I ask get brought up during the episode. 9 times out of 10, you guys still forget them. All right,
ready, Nick?
Dad, go.
Was it? Did you say where Jerry's was standing?
No.
The
Oh.
original.
That was ever said.
I thought.
She did say that.
Oh, okay.
But what'd you
That's
have?
one of the things I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
What'd you have, Beth?
Community house.
Yep. Betty?
Community house.
Yes, that's what I had too.
All right.
Yeah.
Points across the board, except for Dad.
Excellent. I'm just trying to make you look smart. There we go.
Yeah.
So basically, it was at the community house. I think residents would donate books, and they would have. They had only 500 or 600 books in there.
We actually still have
Actually,
the circulation logs from that time too.
Yeah, it's so cool. And the person who did those was Genevieve Cooper Muir, who later went to Ontario and was head librarian in one of the libraries there.
So, what
But
year was it there?
Well, what year was it there?
At the community
Actually, I
centre.
believe 1962.
Okay.
That's when it was there.
But and through about 65.
Okay.
But Genevieve was born on the island. She was her parents owned the old house right at the very end of
the Cooper house.
Periwinkle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the one. That's
she
funny enough.
was
So
a
that's
Cooper.
where Suncatchers Dream is, which is a store on the island, and actually has a very latest supporter. So
Great.
thanks for supporting the channel.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And Genevieve was actually born in the lighthouse. She had gone down there, her mother had gone down there and things happened.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then she ended up in Ontario.
And then she ended up in Ontario.
Okay, an opposite
But she
life of
came
you,
back
Beth.
and she helped set up the library and cataloged
Right.
the books.
And now we have a Canadian.
Yeah, there you go. What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Okay, Max, number 2.
All right. 111 zip.
In what year was Sanibel Public Library's current location built?
Oh, jeez. I think we talked about that too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I don't remember.
And pen's not working real well, but
here.
that's okay. That's fine.
We got some extras. All right. Nick, are you going first?
I guess so. Let's all ridicule Nick. 1974.
I put 1996. I don't know. What is it, Betty?
I put 1995. I think I'm wrong.
1994.
Oh, man.
All right.
We were close, Beth.
Yeah,
We half a point.
Let's
Don't
split
you
a point.
think?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, right.
All right.
All right.
Betty's in the lead
Betty
with
in
2.
the lead.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
All right. According to the library's website, there are how many titles in their circulation?
Oh, jeez. Huh. That's so. It
It's grown
started
from
at
600. I'll give you a hint.
600. It started at the community house, and now, how many do they have? Gosh.
I'll cap you at 100,000. Don't go over 100,000.
Okay, I got it.
Just to give you a range.
I suppose I'm going to have to go
Oh,
first.
Dad, why don't you go first?
Oh, please, let me look ridiculous. 62,000.
I put 50,000. Beth, what you
I
got?
put 20,000 because I know we weeded a ton for the Reimagine.
Oh, so I'm
renovation.
talking before the weeding, Max.
Oh, okay. Pre-reading.
The weeding goes on all the time.
Right.
I would say about 60,000.
Yeah!
Well, we don't.
Oh.
Yeah, it is 60,000 is the website's list. It's
Okay.
listed at 60,000. So I think we have a clear winner.
Oh, I have
You
a...
said 62.
Two.
Right.
It's listed
came
at
very
60,000.
close.
Oh, come on, you got to give me a plus or minus. I mean,
Okay.
they got rid of 2,000 books since, or added 2,000 since Betty last
that right?
looked.
Well,
Since
I
you
have
arrived.
cataloged probably
All
another
those.
2,000 books in the last couple of months.
Okay.
So
There you
there
go,
you go.
Max. There you go.
I'll give you
Come on.
a tenth of a point for that.
Right.
Yeah, we'll give
So
him some.
clearly, Betty was the winner. Surprise
clear
on
winner.
that one. Betty, you get to ring the bell.
Oh,
That's
what
your
a pleasure,
prize.
the bell.
There you
Come
go.
on, you can do it.
It didn't ring.
And there's one other thing that Beth brought that we forgot to bring up, and this
Yeah.
is super cool. Bring that to show everybody. And Nick, Beth's going to describe it for us. Dun dun dun. This is super cool.
So this is
Okay.
actually. Sorry,
You
Betty,
should
go
make
ahead.
them guess.
Yeah. What?
They made us guess.
Okay, describe what it is first for those that are listening.
Yeah, what do you
It's
think it is,
basically,
Nick?
it looks like a resin block that's about 5 inches wide, 4 inches tall, has a picture of the bridge in the background, and a piece of stone in the front, which I'm guessing might be a specimen from the old bridge.
Let's find out. Is he right? Betty?
Yeah.
I am. Woohoo!
Okay. So tell us a bit more. This is.
I have to?
Please.
Well, this was a ceremony with the final destruction of the drawbridge part of the causeway. And this was a piece of it, kind of like the Berlin Wall. We have the,
Right. Or a moon rock, I guess.
yeah, right, or a moon wall.
Well, the Sanibel Bridge has much more historical influence than the
Yeah.
Berlin Wall. I'd say.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
right.
say so. Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome. So what are we doing with these? It's
So-
engraved on the front.
Yeah, it says Sanibel Causeway Improvement Project, September 8th, 2007.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can actually see this if you go to the library,
you can,
correct?
yeah. You can
and how
call
would you
us,
do that?
Call us, and either Betty and I will take you into the secret room of the archives.
Ooh,
Very
I can't
mysterious
wait.
and dusty. And we are happy to show both this and any other physical collection we have. We also have a bunch of really cool stuff physically, including Clarence Rutland's work notebooks. We have a diary from Letitia Nutt from
Okay.
when
the
she
Nutt
was
sisters, or
yeah,
the family.
yeah, when she was following her husband around through the Civil War. So
Awesome.
Wow,
Awesome.
Lots of
so
really
many
cool
things. Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface of the things that you can do at the library. There's puzzles that you can check out and all that. I mean,
Yeah, go online to sanlib.org and look under resources, and it's an amazingly long list of things that you can access.
right.
sanlib.org.
Gee.
There we go.
Dad,
Perfect.
You want to close us off, and then I've got one more question that we missed.
Do you want a question now, or do you want me to close?
Give us your closing, and we'll.
Okay, all right. Well,
finish it
thanks
off
very
with the
much for
question.
joining us, Betty and Beth. Thanks very much for joining us. Please go and check out the Sanibel Library, and make it one of your visits while you're here. It really
It's
is
the number one on
impressive.
TripAdvisor for a reason.
And I'd just like to say a quick thank you to our sponsors: Bailey's General Store, 3 Crafty Ladies, Spoondrift Island Bowls, GatorBites Tail and Ale, and Suncatchers Dream, which is a new store, or not new store, it's an existing store with historical significance. Check out the building it's in, and they're new sponsors to the channel. So thanks very much for sponsoring us, and thanks very much for coming in, ladies.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Max, what you got for me?
Last question. We always ask: if you had to tell a visitor of the island one thing to do for their day on the island, what would it be? And you can't say the library.
Darn.
All right.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's
Best
probably
thing
been
about the
said
islands.
before, but
Yeah. Go on, Betty.
Oh, me first?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'd want them to get into a canoe and paddle into the mangroves.
Okay.
First time
That's
we've heard
cool.
that.
First
one.
time,
Good answer.
Yeah,
and definitely a
excellent.
great answer.
recommendation.
All right, and your turn, Beth.
I would say drive up to Captiva and
Oh,
just,
yes.
do a tour of Captiva. I think there's some really neat
very
houses
cool.
up there and lots to see.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
I
Well,
agree.
thanks very much, guys. We look forward to seeing you around the island, and thanks very much for taking the time out of your day to come and join us.
Thank you
It's
so
been
much
great.
for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.